For problem 5, we are asked to solve and graph each inequality. Solve just means get the letter by itself, so let's do that. If we want this g by itself, then we have to take this -4 and move it over to the other side. So the opposite of a -4 would be to add 4 to each side. Let's do that. So now all we have left over here is g, and then we've got our less than or equal to sign, and we've got -6 plus 4, which is -2. We have g by itself now, so we've solved. So let's write our solution down. G is less than or equal to -2. Okay? All right, now they also asked us to graph it, so we'll graph it. -2 is where we put our circle. Because of this or equal to, we have to shade it in. And the symbol is going that way, so I will make my line go that way. All right, on to part B. So in part B, we want to solve, which means we need to get x by itself. So we need to take this +2 and move it. And we need to move it over here, and we also need to move it over here. So this is x plus 2. The opposite of adding 2 would be to subtract 2. So -2. And then we need to move it over there. We also need to move it over here. So we'll go like that. Okay. So -4 minus 2 is -6. Here's our symbol. The 2's cancel out now, so we just have an x right here. And 5 minus 2 is 3. Oops, forgot to bring this down. There we go. All right, so there's our solution. We'll write that right here. -6 is less than x, which is less than or equal to 3. And now we need to graph it. So it's all of the x's that are in between these two numbers. So I'll start by putting the circles on those two numbers. So -6, and this one does not get shaded because it doesn't have the or equal to. And then the 3 is the other circle. The 3 does have the or equal to symbol underneath, so that one will get darkened, filled in. And it's all the x's that are in between those two numbers. So we'll shade in between those two numbers. We have now done part B. All right, on to part C. This one is going to be interesting because we have -3 times f. The opposite of timesing is to divide. So if we want to move this -3, we have to divide by -3. So these cancel out, and we just have an f over here. 6 divided by -3 is -2. Now, here's where it gets tricky. There is a rule that says when you're doing inequalities, so things with a greater than or less than sign, when you're using those, anytime you times or divide by a negative number, you have to take the symbol and flip it so it goes the other way. So since we just divided by a negative, we need to take this symbol, and now we need to make it go this way. So now we have our solution. F is less than or equal to -2. So let's graph it. -2, our circle goes right here. Because it has an or equal to, we'll fill it in. And because the sign kind of points that way, we'll shade that way. All right, part D. So I see that we have like terms over here. We need to combine them. If you have 9 x's and take away 3 x's, there's really only 6 x's over here, aren't there? So there's 6 x's and there's a -5 over here. Greater than, there's 6x minus 5 over here. Okay, so now we have x's on both sides. So we want to take the smaller amount and move them, but these amounts are the same. So I'll just go, the opposite of a 6x is a -6x. I'll do that to each side. So these cancel out, and all we have left over here is a -5. All right, greater than, and whoa, these cancel out as well. And all we have left over here is negative 5. So we learned in Unit 1 that it doesn't happen very often, but every once in a while, the letters go away. When the letters go away, then our answer will either be no solutions or infinitely many solutions. So how do we know which one to do? Well, we just have to ask ourselves, is this true? Is it true that negative 5 is greater than negative 5? Is negative 5 a bigger number than negative 5? Well, no, they're exactly the same, so it's not greater than. So this isn't actually true here. So since it's not true, we'll select no solutions. And when it's no solutions, you don't have to graph it. So we are done with problem number 5. Great work.